Hey, I'm Chey. There's always so many concerts and yet so little time. Ready? Rollin'. Hi, hello, what's up, what's good, how you doing? Hope you're doing good. Welcome back if you're not new here, and welcome if you are. I am on my BS today because it is a concert day. I am so crazy excited for this concert. I'm going to see Luke Combs in concert for the very first time. I have been a fan of Luke Combs for years, ever since I first saw him with Upchurch many years ago. Even though I'm not really a fan of Upchurch anymore, I have followed Luke since then, and I've watched him catapult to the stardom that I believe, honestly, he deserves. And yet, that entire time, I have never once been able to see him live. Until now. I think he's so talented, I think he's so much fun. And this is a change of plans, because I didn't think that I was going to get to see him on this tour. When he announced this world tour at the beginning, he announced Nissan Stadium, which is in Nashville, the closest to me. And as soon as I checked the tickets, the cheapest were over $300.
No ma'am, no sir, no way, no how. Not in the budget, not ever, no.
And these were like nosebleed seats. Over $300 for no. I love you, Luke. I will support you in every way possible. That's not happening. It's not happening. Kind of bummed, but also par for the course because I had yet to see him. But, fast forward a couple months to about a week ago, and I get an email from Nissan Stadium and from Ticketmaster that Luke is announcing a second show. One that is a day before the originally announced show. Y'all better believe I hopped on Ticketmaster as fast as I possibly could to go see if I could snag any tickets. Not only did I find some tickets that were under $100 a piece, but they were in the first level. Now, they aren't GA, like, ground, but they are on the first level of the stadium. They are all the way at the back, but honestly, Nissan Stadium has gigantic jumbotrons. I've been to a couple different concerts in Nissan Stadium, and sitting even at the back of the football field, not a problem. You still get an amazing view. So I have absolutely no problem with that. I am just happy that I'm going to be able to be there. I asked my mom, and we worked the budgeting out to where this is going to count as an early birthday present with me. And it is so very well worth it. I am almost like a bucket list item. He is one of those artists that I did not think that I would get to see for many years in the future, just because he is so crazy popular right now, which he very well deserves to be. But I became comfortable with the idea of, like, I'm not going to be able to afford to see him probably for several years on in the future. Like, for example, Bad Omens. Love Bad Omens, have loved Bad Omens for years, but right now, they're crazy popular, which they deserve. Kind of expecting it, par for the course, that I'm probably not going to be able to see them for a while just because of the demand. And I'm okay with that, because I'm happy for them. They deserve to have that amount of people, like, ready and willing and able to go see them. But I do also want to see them. That is why I am so happy that I finally get to see Luke in concert today, because it has been a long time coming. And it was supposed to rain today, but it's actually quite nice outside. It's been sunny, it's like 70-something degrees, little light breeze. It's a good day for a stadium show. I hope I don't eat my words on that. Alright, let's give y'all a tiny little fit check as to what I'm wearing. On top, I'm wearing my black long sleeve Luke Combs shirt. It's just got his name on the front, and on the back it's just got a little design. Short, sweet, simple, to the point. And I'm tucking the shirt into a pair of green fabric shorts. I figured I'd wear shorts along with the long sleeve black shirt, because in case I get too hot in the shirt, I'll have the shorts at least to cool me off. Then, for shoes, I'm just wearing my black Adidas and my classic George Washington demonized socks. Also, I can't forget my favorite hat that I'm going to be pairing with it. It's my fish lucky hat. I love this hat, and also the green pretty much matches the color of my shorts, so it just works out. I also forgot to say my mom is coming with me, so that's fun. We're gonna leave soon. We're gonna grab some dinner before we go to Nissan Stadium, because we are not buying food at Nissan Stadium. Yikes. I think we're gonna get some Wendy's, but for right now, we're just kind of chilling at home. I'll check back in when we leave. Apparently our seats somehow became unavailable, so they moved us. How? Ow! Popping in here to explain what's going on in this clip. We originally got seats in section 123. When we came up to the gate for our proper section, I showed my tickets to the gate guard and he said, "Oh, your seats are no longer available. You need to go to the box office at 108 and they've reassigned you to your seats. They've given you other seats." And we were like, "What do you mean our seats are unavailable?" And we're like looking down because we could see in the section and there's like no one down there. And we're like, there's nothing sitting on top of a Godzilla is not like, you know, chilling there. Like, what do you mean they're unavailable? We walked all the way from section 123, bless my mom and her bad foot, 2 ticket resolutions. And it turns out, apparently they brought in a food truck or a Jack Daniels truck. They hadn't originally planned to be there, but then all of a sudden just showed up. And so they had to reassign everyone who originally had tickets in those 2 sections to different sections. We did end up getting better seats. Not crazy better, but a pretty good upgrade nonetheless. We ended up being moved to section 132, which is closer to stage right. And the cooler thing is that we were really close down on front, as you'll see in the clips.
I get to play my hometown stadium, so thank you for that. But me and Chris met at a bar. I'm sure y'all have been here, or been there while you're here. It's called Losers Bar and Grill. Have any of y'all ever been there? There's one on Broadway too, but I'm talking about that Delombria's Bar. Right there in Midtown. And I met Chris right there at the end of that bar, so we wrote a song about it. Here we go. If you quit telling lies about me, I won't tell the truth about you. Well, this town's been telling me I've done some things I never did. Yeah, the grapevine starts with a glass of wine. You take it a sip.
Back in 35, last man on the joke, trying to survive hot farm. Now his grandpa's never died. No better than take that curve so fast.
You don't look like a country star. It's like eyeing over something in the grocery store. You know, the thing with the less packaging is what you want to first. Physical appearance. Nobody was going to give me a chance. I just got to go out there and sing my ass every night and just prove it.
How do you mentally prepare for this?
And everyone can tell you it's going to be okay, but how the f*** do they know?
That's the story. What a wild ride from where it all began.
Entertainer.
The guy is arguably the biggest thing in country music. People have a preconceived idea of what works and what doesn't. And every now and then, something great comes through to challenge that status quo. And he was that thing. if you have, you know that I like to do a song by myself. The reason I like to do that is when I started playing music, it was probably 10 years ago now, and it was always just me and a guitar. A song, somebody that wanted to hear it. It didn't matter if it was 10 people in a restaurant or however many thousand people we got in Nissan Stadium tonight. It was always about the music, and I always wanted to be about the songs. And I'm gonna play one that means a lot to me. It's called This One's For You. The way everything is and how everything turned out. And I owe that to you guys, man. I want you to know anytime you come to a concert, whether it's mine or anybody else's, you aren't here to see us. It's our job to play for you. So I want you to remember that you spent your hard-earned money to be in here with us tonight. I love you for it. You changed my life. You changed 100 people's lives backstage. And we all get to live our dreams because of folks like you, and I'm so thankful for that. Got our special guest on the fiddle here. Miss Alicia, thank you so much for playing with us. This one's called 5 Foot Glove. Come on. I go to work every Monday to do something I love. These memories of music. My dad had a 1988 brown Ford F-150 with a tan camper top on it. It had a cassette player in it. This is probably 1995. And I remember he put this tape in there. We listened to the whole thing, and I loved the whole thing, but there was one song that stood out to me. This one's called Fast Car.
It is the next day. Actually, it's the next night, to be quite honest with you. I had to take the rest of the day just to do nothing. But that's the sign of a good show, right? That's the sign of a good concert experience, is when you have to take like a full day or at least half a day off the next day to actually recuperate. Sorry I didn't film any footage on the way home, but to be frank with you, my phone was dying. It was heaving for its last breath as it was desperately trying to find us a lift to go back to our car where we parked. And I was more worried about that than I was on getting footage. I think if you've ever been to a show, you can relate to that. So after we left Nissan Stadium, we decided, for the first time ever in leaving a show from Nissan Stadium, to go up by the 7-Eleven and wait for a lift. We usually walk across the bridge, but recently my mom has been having issues with her foot and can't really walk that far, so we just decided to go to the 7-Eleven instead, which is literally right next to the parking lot in front of Nissan Stadium. I guess Metro had decided to try a new thing with the cones at Nissan Stadium, and so many parts of the road were blocked off that aren't usually blocked off when it comes to Nissan Stadium, at least not that I've ever seen, and it was just a mess. It was a mess. No one knew what was happening. No one knew what was going on. There were so many cars weaving in and out of cones and like having to reverse or like get redirected by cops because it was a mess. It was a nightmare to watch. And they had 2 of the entrances to the gas station blocked off. This gas station is at the intersection of 2 major crossroads, one that leads directly to the interstate. So you have one going this way, this lane of traffic, and the other going this way. They had these 2 lanes coming in from this side of the road blocked off, so only if you were coming in on this side of the road over here could you get into the gas station. Even if you were going the other direction on that road, you couldn't get in for the cones unless you dodged and weaved through the cones. I just feel like there should have been a better way to go about that. It became a nightmare when us and about 15 other groups of people were like, oh crap, our Lyfts can't get in here. And Lyfts are like denying us because like they can't get in here and we can't find any Lyfts because it is near midnight on a Friday night in downtown Nashville. Already gonna be hard to get Lyfts, which we knew. The parking and the driving situation made it that much worse. It was made worse for me and my mom because my phone was dying, my charging block was dead, and Lyft uses a lot of battery, and also my mom can't walk very far on her foot. If she could have, then we would have just booked it across the bridge and ordered a Lyft from over there. Luckily, this 7-Eleven had charging stations, so we literally sat in this 7-Eleven trying and retrying to get Lyfts and Ubers and all that. And it was getting to the point where I was like, screw it, it's not gonna happen. I'm so tired. It is almost midnight. I'm just gonna sit here enough to charge up my phone to about 50% and then we're just gonna go across the bridge. We're just gonna take our chances and go across the bridge because it's probably gonna be more quiet over there. Like a few minutes before midnight, an hour after we have gotten out of the show, an hour after just getting Lyfts canceled over and over and over, I am about to exit out of the app. I actually locked my phone and then it gave me the notification of like, hey, if you want notifications from Lyft, you gotta keep it open. And so I went to open the app again and to close it out to get rid of it to say, you know, screw it. And literally as I was about to swipe it up and out, it said your driver is 3 minutes away. I almost screamed. I was like, are you kidding me? Yeah, right. Like, let's wait and see, but I'm not gonna cancel it because the last driver gave me was 14 minutes away. And then that never happened. So 3 minutes away, I was like, it took him about 20 more minutes to get to us, but that's not his fault. That was just the way the traffic flow was set up. Luckily though, by the time he did get around to us, they had started picking up the cones, and so it was easier for him to get to us and for us just to go straight to the interstate. Literally, it felt like a miracle. He asked us, you know, how are you guys? Like when we got in the car and we were like, dude, you're like an angel right now. We've been waiting for so long. We were so tired. My phone was dying. We were in dire straits, my friend. We got back to our parking spot about 20 after midnight-ish. And then we got home a little after 1 a.m. and right after that I just pretty much passed out. Woke up about 7 this morning and I have just been lethargic ever since. As for merch, what all did I pick up at the show? Actually not that much. If you're new here, there is a tradition that I do, or at least try to do at every single show that I go to, which is pick up a tour t-shirt. Now this of course depends if the tour has a tour t-shirt, but I always try to get a tour t-shirt from the headlining act. And with Luke Combs, I managed to get 2. I got this beautiful blue one that just has his name, Luke Combs World Tour 2023, on the front. And then, of course, it just has all the dates here on the back. It's really soft, and I love this shade of blue. It kind of reminds me of a shade that, like, cars in the 50s would have been painted with. Or rather, I should say, primered with. Usually primer's like red, but it's a really pretty color of blue. That's what I'm trying to say. And the logo on the front reminds me of retro auto parts logos, which I am always a sucker for. As for the second tour t-shirt that I picked up, I got this gray one with the design of Luke on the front that I think is really cool and really captures the essence of his concerts. And on the back, of course, again, it has the tour dates. My mom also picked up one of the gray t-shirts because she loved it so much. The last thing that I picked up at the merch booth, which y'all could probably see coming from a mile away, was a vinyl copy of his latest album, Getting Old. Now, this is, I guess you could call it the companion album to Growing Up, so it's Growing Up and Getting Old. I do not currently own Growing Up, but I'm gonna get it. Then I'm gonna set it on a shelf alongside Getting Old. And the covers mirror each other, so when you put them together, you have Luke's face and a complete design. I am tired. Can you tell? Words don't do me good. Anyway, excited to have this album. I think I only have one other Luke Combs vinyl in my collection. So, happy to have this one too. Even though he doesn't look that happy about it. As for the concert itself, I will try to keep this as short and sweet and to the point as I can. It was a lot of fun. Don't know if you could tell that from the clips, and I want to apologize for my dying wail song of a voice, but also I kind of don't want to apologize because I was living my best life. I was having a lot of fun. Why would I apologize for that? If you don't go to a concert and scream your heart out along with your favorite songs, what's the point? I guess besides just going to have fun in other ways. So the first opening act was Brent Cobb. Unfortunately, I don't have much to say about this act because most of the time that he was on stage, me and my mom were running around trying to figure out the situation with our seats. But what I did hear from running around in the stadium, it was very, very good. I was really excited to see Lainey Wilson because when this tour was first announced, she was billed as one of the opening acts. And instead, we got Mitchell Tenpenny, who I love just as much. He's very fun, very lively, and as much as it comes across in his studio recordings, it definitely comes across live. That's something that him and Luke for sure have in common. Mitchell had a really nice command of the stage. It was really fun to watch him perform. Even the songs that I didn't know, which were quite a few with his, unfortunately, and I will definitely be familiarizing myself more with his discography. And the reason I'm not ashamed to admit it is because that's the sign of a good performer, of a great artist who can capture your attention and make you even more interested and invested in their work to discover more of it. He was great, his band was great. That's something that I want to say for acts all across the board at that show. Their bands were incredible, insanely talented. I really liked that each act gave not only introduction to their band members, but they gave at least a couple minutes to every single member of their band to shine on their own and really showcase their talents. I'm a sucker for things like that as an engineer, just as a music lover, and it really made my night to get to watch these musicians show their chops, and chops they did have. Chops were had. Butchers were coming from miles around, lining up, asking for names, asking questions. It was crazy, the chops that these people had. I think the Butchers were actually talking about a class action lawsuit for like a monopoly on the chops that these musicians had. I think that's how many chops that they had. Chey, what is happening? After Mitchell Tenpenny came Riley Green. Riley Green's band, incredible to watch. I know I already did a whole little rant about how talented all the bands were, so I'm not going to do it again. Don't worry about that. But I will say they were very, very fun to watch interact with each other because I think they were the most rock inclined, at least to what they played to show off their skills. And it was just a nice change of pace from all the country bops that we were hearing. Then, just before I go any further, this is not directed towards any one artist, just something that I've been thinking about in relation to country music. I'm just gonna come out and say it. Alcohol is not a personality trait. And if it is, you need help. To Luke Mr. Luke Combs. Incredible performer. As I figured and as I hoped that he would be. I was enraptured the entire time. It was surreal to finally get to see him on stage and to scream along with all of my favorite songs. You can hear my voice almost just kind of gave out right there from like having a flashback of how I was screaming at the show. Hang in there. We're tougher than this. Luke is the kind of performer I love to watch because you can just tell how much fun he truly is having on stage. And if you've seen any of my concert videos before, you know that's a big theme with me. I love when you can see a performer's passion for what they do really come out through their performance. I think it is not only one of the most cool things to watch, I think it is one of the most special things to watch. Because having a passion like that, especially a creative endeavor, is something that is incredibly personal, incredibly just intense all over again, emotional, physical, mental. And to be able to share it to that much of a high caliber with other people that they can get a smidgen of what it means to you, that it can come across to them as even a hint of how powerful as it is to you, I think is just something that's special. And I love to partake in it. I love to watch people get passionate about what they love and feel comfortable and confident enough to share that with other people. It's one of my favorite things about working in a studio environment. To get to see that firsthand up close. It's just awe-inspiring, and it sounds odd to say, but it definitely is kind of humbling. I'm not going to elaborate on that because I don't have the words for it right now. Maybe in another video. Yeah, I'll probably go in depth a lot more on that in another video when I can articulate a lot better. Oh, we're bringing out the multi-syllable word there, are we, Chey? Huh? Articulate? Wow, good for you. I will say, though, that Luke, of I think any artist that I've ever seen in concert, played the least amount of my favorite songs live. I enjoyed all the songs that he played. I don't think that he has a song that I don't like, as in I'm like, oh, I don't like that. But as for actual favorites, he actually didn't play that many of, like, my favorites. He played a couple of the key ones, but a few other ones are kinda, I hesitate to say deep cuts, because they're not really deep cuts, but deep cut-esque, like the song Angels Working Overtime. That's from a song a couple albums ago, but it's not from, like, his debut album. It's not that far back. But I also don't believe it was ever released as a radio single, so I guess count that as deep cut-esque, if you will. That's fine, though, because I did enjoy every single song that he played. I was screaming and singing my heart out along with my mom and thousands of other people. I had a really grand old time. I got to spend time with my mom. I got to see an artist in concert who I have followed since the earlier days of his career. Someone who I have been lucky enough to see evolve and grow and blossom and really start to get the praise and love that he deserves. Someone who I never thought that I would be able to see within the next couple years. Very, very, very lucky, very thankful that I got this opportunity. The biggest thank you goes to Mama Chey for the early birthday present of this. Honestly, I think this could cover the next 3 birthdays of my life. Prepare yourselves for a lot more concert vlogs because, oh boy, do I have a slew of them coming up in May, and I can't even tell you how unfathomably, that's a word, right? Excited I am for all of those. I am doing a lot of the hand motions today. Maybe it's because I have my camera up higher. Okay, ADHD. I'm gonna go. Thank y'all so much for watching. If you ain't heard it from anyone else today, I love you. Love and peace.